What's up, guys? Welcome to the Teacher's Lounge. It is Thursday night. We are recording this live, which means you are watching it live. I am Matt Jones. I'm a drama teacher. I'm exhausted, and I'm here.
Nice. My name is Chris Dunham. I'm a seventh grade math teacher, and I also do stand-up.
What's up? My name is Zoe Johnson. I run after school programs, and I'm also a actor and comedian as well. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh,
Just three stand-up comedian teachers. Just living La Vida Loca. How was your guys' week?
Ooh, who wants to go first?
Hey,
So,
my week is crazy. My week is crazy because it's just like now, the kids, you know how it is, Matt. When something's coming up, you want the kids to focus and stuff. And if they're not having fun, they're not gonna be focused. You see what I'm saying? So it's about like really getting them to say, hey, this is serious. So I had to create a calendar, right? Because June 6th is coming up. So I created a calendar where they got to cross the days
For people
out.
who don't know, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
June 6th. What's June 6th?
I'm so sorry, y'all. June 6th, we have a big production, a live theater production. We're doing like 4 plays. And we're doing Shrek. We're doing the book of, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Mormon?
The Book of Mormon.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Fourth graders cussing.
No. Shrek. We're doing Sing. Shrek, Sing, and what is the other one? Let's just say these two for now, 'cause I can't get my mind together. But we're doing 2 other plays, and the production is June 6th, and the kids are just still wilding. That they're not paying attention. They're like, we just want to have fun, play games. And so my instructors are having a hard time getting the kids to pay attention and get focused and get serious about it because they're kids. They don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? But so I created a calendar. Say, hey, why don't you just show the kids this and cross it out each date? And sometimes it's really better if the kids could get a visual to see it. That way they could get more focused, understanding they only have so many days left. We only have 4 more weeks before the production.
Yeah, they see those X going up, and it's like, you have this many days left to get it together. Yeah, because they don't conceive of that.
They don't conceive it. So you got to get the kids visuals and let them know, hey, your parents going to come. You don't want to mess up. You don't want to look stupid. Parents are coming. So it's been a kind of a tough thing for my instructors to get it together. Let's go come together. Like you said, it's crazy how sometimes you think the kids are going to fail, but in the moment, kids really have fun in the moment, especially when the parents are there. Hey, I see you right there. You're yelling at the kids and the families are there. And as an audience, kids kind of perform off the energy. So it's going to be okay.
Yeah, dude, I told you, like, that's exactly what happened to me because I was directing this play. They didn't know any of their lines like 3 days before.
Yeah.
And my anxiety was like, I'm going to lose my job as a drama teacher
Yeah.
because that's how bad this is going to be. Because the kids didn't know their stuff. And then showtime, they crushed it.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushed it. And we did rehearse a lot.
Yeah.
But
and sometimes you think that they don't get it, but eventually they get it at the wrong time, but they get it.
They get it. I mean, it's sort of like, I mean, maybe it was divine providence, dude. I got down on my knees and asked to not lose my job because I was like,
God, please, I need
was
this
like,
money.
Please help this to work out. And they did awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
congrats to you, bro. You know
yeah, so your week's good then? No,
it's just been stressful with that. Getting the kids to focus, and they're calling me like, I can't get these kids to focus. What should I do?
How much does that affect your life? Like, are you laying awake at night with like flying saucer eyes, just staring up at the ceiling, thinking about these kids?
I do because it falls back on me being the producer of it.
100%
falls back on me. So sometimes I have sleepless nights because I'm like, I want them to do the job correctly, and it's super like stressful. So sometimes I be tossing and turning at nighttime.
You're the fall guy. If something doesn't work out, it's Zoe Johnson's fault.
Absolutely. And I gotta give my instructors a lot of care and listen to their problems. Like,
you gotta therapize these people.
Yeah.
And for those of you guys who are watching, by the way, thank you everybody who's tuning in.
Tapping in. Appreciate you.
You guys are awesome. We appreciate you watching us live. We're all teachers. Zoe works in after-school programs, and a lot of the instructors that he works with are actors. I don't know if you've been to Los Angeles, but actors can sometimes be a bit crazy.
Yes, and they're hard to deal with. Yeah, they're hard to deal with.
Harder than the kids.
Yeah, they're hard to deal with. And sometimes they have their ways. but it's hard. But it comes with the territory. You know what I'm
Got it.
saying? But
What about you?
My week's been pretty good so far. First off, I'm 47 years old, so I went and got the full physical done and all that, and then we had the talks with the doctor about the results. Check this out. I kind of already shared a little bit with Matt.
okay.
The doctor actually said to me, she goes, "Let me ask you a question. She goes, your testosterone is actually high for a 47-year-old man." She goes, "Are you already on testosterone replacement therapy?" I was like, "No, this is all natural."
Yeah.
And then she goes,
Rock and
"No
roll.
steroids?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Well, it's fantastic for your age." Now, the thing is, she did go, "Hey, you're low in vitamin D, like
Yep.
really low." So I started supplementing with vitamin D. Oh my God. Like I can't tell you like how much of a difference, because I take a multivitamin, but supplementing with the vitamin D. Now I'm like, I feel like I'm 10 years younger.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
crazy.
Yeah.
Or I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Yeah.
Vitamins are so important. It's so crazy.
yep.
But with the
Yeah.
vitamin D, it's about sunlight. You might not get as much sun as you think you do.
You don't.
I
You see what
don't.
I'm
I
saying? So
Yeah.
that's the thing.
look at the screen right now. Look at
Yeah.
how
You're on your way to kill Wesley
I
Snipes
am-
and Blade.
Yeah,
Look at the white that is just coming
you're
at
a white,
you.
You're a white guy.
I
You
am
are
a
a
white,
white
man. That's
yeah.
that
Sorry.
Irish,
you're white.
Irish and English background just right there.
That's what's up.
Look at
Well,
that. I love
well,
it. Make it
well,
even a little bit bigger. Oh.
But ladies, all you single moms out there, Chris is single.
The single
He
moms.
has high testosterone.
He has high
You know what that
testosterone.
means. You know what that means. Okay, ladies. So
Dude, he can take care of your kids
slide his DM.
and
Yes.
still have high test.
So it was great to hear that. And then the week started. And
When's the date with her? Are you going out with her? Your doctor? You're like, by the way, if you want to go out with her. She slips her number.
But then the week started, and this week starts the end of the year testing for
Ugh.
the state.
Mhm.
And well, number one, we talk about it all the time, but like kids are really over tested and they don't know how. It's not just the end of the year test. It's like
Yeah.
there's also these things called the iReady test
Okay.
that we have to do 3 times a year.
Mm.
That takes 2 to 3. I actually figured it out once. We spend out of the 9 months of the school year, we spend 1 month just doing tests.
Okay.
Tests, including like your own tests for your classroom.
Class. Yeah.
But what's great is with the end of the year test, the kids have to be really quiet and everything, and they're working on it. So there's not like the intensive teaching,
Mhm.
right? So it
Yeah, yeah.
feels, and I don't have to regulate because I'm with an incredible group of kids. I'm with a group of kids. My first period, they're also my homeroom. They're one of the best I've ever had.
How
And
long
so-
do you have them for?
So I get them for basically 2 hours every day.
Nice.
Ah.
It is awesome because I love all their little personalities.
Yeah.
They're amazing. So my week has just been super stress-free.
That's good.
Dude, that's
Do
what's
you
up.
have to
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
those kids?
I'm sorry?
Support those kids while they're taking these tests. Not your tests.
No.
but
I thought you
those
said
tests.
financially.
No, that's crazy.
He's got to pay child support
I,
for
Yeah.
his
I
class.
pay them in hot Cheetos.
Exactly.
They're all his kids.
No, so when they're taking the test, they can't actually ask you any questions about the test. So the real thing that I try to do when I help them study for it is I know how to study for tests just to be a better test taker. So I really try to focus on that and stuff like that.
That's good.
And then also how to use the test. You know, a lot of the kids don't know all these like little tools and everything that are out at their disposal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also, because I've scored the end of the, not end of the year tests, but tests that are similar to that.
Okay.
So I know what they're looking for. So even though I'm a math teacher, they're taking English, I get to tell them, hey, do you want to score at least a 1 or a 2? Do this exactly. And then you
Nice.
see their little fingers just typing
Going
away.
crazy.
I'm like, you guys got this, you know? So
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah. How
That's
about yours?
That's awesome. My week has not been that with testing. So I'm an
Or
electives
testosterone?
teacher. Yeah, well, testosterone is great, but apparently I don't have Chris Dunham testosterone. The doctors aren't like, hold on, let me call the president of the United States and tell him about my testosterone. That's good for you, dude. No, I'm an electives teacher. So we don't do state testing, but we have the kids for like an hour and a half. And I did a teacher talk about this week, but I was talking about how the great thing about teaching middle school is every class is like an episode of a TV show, and you can change the channel every 15 minutes.
Okay.
You can't do that during testing because I have these kids for like an hour and a half, some of them.
Okay.
So they start going nuts
Yeah.
because what happens is they're testing all day, and then they go into their electives class to blow off steam.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're like
Let's
super
clap.
hyper.
Maybe a match class.
Yeah, they're like, yes, Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like dealing with that all day. And it hasn't been that bad, honestly, you know.
Yeah.
But this is a little bit of a negative spin on your doctor story. I had sleep apnea this year. If you don't know what that is, it's where you wake up and you're like out of breath.
Oh, you stop breathing and
You
sleep.
stop breathing in your sleep. And I was
Yeah.
like, I thought that was just for morbidly obese people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can have it if you're a petite dude too, a petite guy with sleep apnea.
That could be anybody.
You know,
I had that before.
yeah, I got that petite apnea. But anyways, they gave me a new mask, and it's very mild sleep apnea, but it was like digging into my nose. Sleep. So I don't know if you guys can see this.
Is it
right
hard to
here.
sleep in that thing?
Well, yeah, dude. It's like you're Tom Cruise in Top Gun. Every night you go to bed, you're like in an F1 fighter jet. You're like, put this thing on. It's like,
He's like,
Really?
it's not. It's
I
very
was
hard to be
raised in the
sexy too
doctors.
with the sleep apnea mask.
So when you're a girl, you cuddle with that thing on your face?
She hates it.
Really?
oh,
She
because
hates
it also makes a sound.
It makes a sound. You sound like Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Like you sound like you sound like an alien
Your f-
spaceship.
Every time your fiance is laying next to you, she is thinking, the rest of my life?
100%. And dude, I didn't have that until probably until I started teaching.
Should
Which is
have blamed
insane.
her. It's because of you I got this.
Yeah,
You know
just
what I'm
imagine
saying?
that
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
fired from your teaching job. You just start screaming at your class, being like, "You guys gave me sleep apnea." You know, like it'd be like one of your reaction videos.
Exactly.
Was there's a teacher crash out? Did you hear about that teacher who blamed his class for his sleep apnea?
Yeah.
But my week, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm being funny and silly. It has been stressful, but it's also that end of the year feeling that you get just feels so good.
You can't wait.
Yeah, dude. It's just the end of the year, and this is the reason why. Because I've only been teaching for 2 years, and I've had to be in college full time these entire 2 years. So I go to school, and then I go to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that, I end up having to study. So I'm like focused on education for 14 to 15 hours a day. And so once that is done,
Yeah.
that's gonna rock.
So
you
when
know?
does
So,
school actually, like college, I should say, when does it officially end for you?
at the end of May, and I have 14 assignments
Oh,
Okay.
you can't wait.
that are due. And during that time, and it's like, but it does give me empathy for my students because I hate school so much. So I do try to make it fun for kids because I was not a great student. I hated school. I mean, the education system sucked for me back then, and it sucks for teachers now, you know? But it's like at the same time, dude, that summer break, I'm really gonna live it up. I might even sleep a few nights without my sleep apnea mask on if I get like real dangerous, you know what I mean?
You have to take that thing on the road with you too? Like you go out of town, you take it on.
Dude, I don't have it that bad. In fact, I've heard
Picture like its own suitcase.
yeah, it's a suitcase. It's like somebody who carries it,
package.
pushes their baby in a stroller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I got my little sleep apnea bag.
That's so funny.
It's like, sir, you can't bring your purse on the plane. I'm like,
Exactly.
no, my sleep apnea.
You're not
bag is in
allowed.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. No, it's wild, but I wear it every night, you know.
And
so-
also, let me ask you, are you got, so Matt got his, I think, was it no, not last week, the week prior, Matt got his first TPA result back and he had passed it.
Oh, nice. Oh, congrats.
yeah,
Congrats,
thank
Matt.
you.
Yes,
Thank you.
congrats.
If you guys don't know what that is, TPA, as you have said, is like the bar exam for teachers.
Yep.
So
And so where are you at in your, because is there two?
there's 2 TPAs. The other one is 3 lessons.
Okay.
I had to do 3 more lessons, and I love this class. This is like my favorite class. I'm just going to say it on air. But I bribed them. I was like, I'll give you guys donuts if you behave
Oh,
for these
that's-
3 days,
yeah.
you know? And
Yeah,
so
it works.
dude, yeah, they were so quiet, which is why parents regularly have to tell kids like, hey, if somebody pulls up and offers you candy, do not go with them because kids love candy.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll do anything for food. They were awesome. They were amazing. And I passed it, I think, because it's like I got all
so
my
you got
lessons.
your
I
second
got my
one
second one filmed,
in.
but I haven't submitted it yet. I have like
okay.
12 more pages of writing.
Gotcha.
So it's like 12 more pages of writing.
But
But anyways, that's not fun
Yeah.
at all. Should we go to the comments?
Yeah,
You
Let's
guys
go to
wanna
the
go
comments. By the way,
Enough
before we
about
get
me.
to the comments, I just want to say thanks again, everyone, for following us on all different platforms and tuning in right now. And your comments. Sometimes people send it, it's comments that we see on one of our videos, or people will send us personal messages. So thank you very much. All right, let's do this.
we
Yeah,
got
thank you,
Lexi
guys.
Pup. Thank you, coming in. Nicholas, we see you. He in the chat.
Lexi Pup, that's my fiance.
I didn't want to say anything.
I was like, should I say that or
Hey,
not?
that is so cute that she supports it.
Yeah, I know. She's
No,
like,
my girl
It's
is
like a mom chanting for a son when he hits a ball off a tee.
My girl's in here too. Big shout out to
Is she?
Set. I see you, baby. Yeah. Good Academy is in the building.
Good Academy.
Yeah, and
Do we
Phil.
know Good
and-
Academy?
No. I
No.
don't. And Phil.
Phil?
See you, Phil. Thank you, bro.
What's up, Phil?
Yeah,
Uncle
yeah.
Phil.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I can read this one because this was a message that actually somebody sent me on Instagram. I subbed in middle school, and some of the students are nuts. I had one kid mean mug me for over a minute like he wanted to fight me for no reason. I wrestled and did BJJ, I'm assuming that's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
yeah.
for a decent part of my life and don't look like a complete pushover. Yet I was worried he would attack me and I wouldn't know how to respond. If I don't feel safe in a sense where an unstable teen could attack me and force me to do something that could alter my life, ruin my reputation, and put me in the local media in a very negative light, how do regular teachers deal with this situation and risk?
Wow. So
You have a lot to say about
actually,
this.
you go first because you're the
Yeah.
one that got.
So I have never felt there's some overgrown kids for sure. There's some kids, dude, that look, we actually did a sketch about it,
Mhm.
about kids that don't look their age. You know what I mean? That look like they operate an oil rig,
Yeah.
So there's kids that are very, very huge. I've never personally felt in danger. But what I will say is I've only taught for 2 years. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, there was the kid who was stealing my lunch for a week, but that quickly stopped. I'm just kidding. That'd be crazy. But like, no, I've never actually felt that. But what I have been paranoid about is how kids can just walk into the classroom and do anything they want. So I'll tell you guys a story. There was somebody, it was a rumor, never found out if it was true,
Okay.
but they got mad at me
Mhm.
and they recorded my voice. And what they were going to do is they were going to put it through an AI filter. And they were going to start calling parents and saying crazy stuff and calling kids and saying crazy stuff by using my voice through an AI filter. So what you're saying, man, is really real, because whether it's like a violent threat or just a kid that doesn't like you because there's no discipline at home and you represent the enemy in some way, shape, or form, that can happen. You know what I mean? And that's why we have a teachers union. And that's why we had UTLA on here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that's why that's so important,
Mm-hmm.
because we need that. We need that extra protection.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because
100%.
people are crazy, and kids are in the people category. So yeah, but you go ahead. 'cause,
Yeah,
you know.
I would say this is that I don't know if there's actual stats on this. So all this is anecdotal,
Uh-huh.
talking to people and all that. There are more cases of students who hate a teacher or want to get back at a teacher and doing something to either the teacher's reputation,
Mhm.
accusing them something, or whatever, right? Like AI, whatever it is. Then there are teachers doing something wrong to the kids. And so always know, I think that it's important if someone's in a situation like that, that for the most part, if you conduct yourself, just be compliant to everything that they've taught you. They say that the best thing, and it sounds crazy, but like, don't even defend yourself, just run if a kid comes after you, Because if you end up even putting your hands back on a kid and say they did it to you first, everything can be misconstrued,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And no one will have mercy on you.
Yeah, especially if
No
you're in a
one.
really, like, say you have a terrible class or whatever, all those kids may turn on you as well and be like, no, he did blah, 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 this, blah, blah, blah. And then you're just completely screwed.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, for myself, there's only been one situation where I felt like a kid was actually going to hit me. And that was when a kid put his hands on me a couple years ago.
I
And
remember that.
yeah, so, you know, but um, but luckily, kid backed down, everything went about, you know, but there nothing happened to that kid.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
public school,
Mhm.
guys. Unless you commit an actual no, you can commit actual felonies, but because you're young and you're in school, they'll look the other way with a lot of stuff.
And dude, kids are trying to set booby traps too.
Absolutely.
One thing that I'll say, so I've gotten messages and it'll just be like it'll be like some random message. There was somebody that sent me a message the other day and it was a girl, like a woman, right? And it just said, "Hey, handsome," but it was spelled HANDSUM. And I was like, this is a student.
Oh God.
You know what I
Yeah, yeah.
mean?
Immediate block.
Block. Yeah.
Yeah.
Block.
So it's like, it's just so funny because people don't realize that there are some kids are just mischievous, they're not devious. And then
Yeah.
some are just very, very, they are out to get you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's
But
like, but I think that's few and far between.
Mhm. But I also think too, at the same time, you gotta set your boundary at the beginning, you know, before you start teaching the beginning of the year. I mean, you can't connect with every kid, but you gotta still humanize, like, okay, I understand what this kid going through. How can I connect with this kid? Also, you gotta let the kid know I'm not against you, I'm with you. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because sometimes with teachers, sometimes we might get upset. And I sometimes think you can't really put your feelings into it as a teacher, because once you put your feelings into it, you're gonna lose automatically because you're gonna use anger because you're
Mhm.
upset, or you're gonna just yell because you want to get your point across. But I think you kept a calm demeanor, not letting the kid know you're getting to me, then you can own it more in your classrooms. But you also got to set the set it up early, let them know what you don't play and how you know things you can't get away with in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? So you got to own your classroom at the beginning. I think a lot of times with these teachers, it's already down a dark path already. They already experienced these kids bullying them or doing stupid stuff in the classroom. So it's already too late for a lot of these teachers. So once it builds up and gets too far, then you're lost. Now you got to face this violence with these kids. Now you got a problem you got to face with these kids because
Yeah.
now you waited too late to solve the problem. You got to stop it early so you won't go down these dark paths with these kids. That's how I
Mhm.
feel, personal opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 3 weeks are the ones that matter the most.
Yeah.
And so setting the rules in the classroom and the boundaries. But sometimes you do get kids that no matter how great the teacher is, it doesn't matter if it's the PE teacher, whatever, there's some kids that they need beyond like what's offered in the classroom.
Well, let me ask you a question
There's
though.
some of them.
Let me ask you, actually, Chris, what makes Kip such a good teacher? That no
Oh.
one tries him because
No,
why
they
wouldn't
do.
They do?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Okay, so give me an
Yeah.
example. What?
Yeah,
how
but he
how-
just like he ends up dealing with stuff as well, you know.
Mhm.
And but one of the things that he does that I really really love is that he greets every student when they're walking into the classroom
Mhm.
with high fives.
Yeah,
Um, and even when he's done talking to a kid, right? And I've seen it. It's like, and they're about to leave the room, he gives them another high five. And I think that for some kids, that really puts them at ease,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
right? But then,
Absolutely.
Connection.
yeah. But to Matt's point, there are
Mm-hmm.
some kids that it doesn't matter what you do. They're on a path, and you're just it's Sherman's. They're Sherman and Sherman's March to the Sea. They're just their goal is just. Some people just want to watch the world burn, Master
Yeah.
Wayne, and
Mhm.
the best thing that you could do for them is to always, once again, show that you're there for them
Mhm.
Mhm.
and show like, hey, when you're having those things, maybe a counselor, you know, like there's been students that I've had where I would rather them be with the counselor because they may get more out of that. Because
100%.
yeah, and we talk about this all the time. When a kid is really,
So you suggest that to the kids? Say, hey, why don't you go see
oh
counselor?
God, when there's something like a kid is going through something and they're really the term is like dysregulated, right?
Mhm.
But they're just on one. Let's just say it like that. They're just, you go, hey, everything's gonna be all right. I know right now is going to be a bad time to talk to me. You want to talk to a counselor, or is there somebody else that you'd like to talk to?
Yeah.
Just know I'm here for you. And you have to constantly remind those kids, because those kids that are like that, they live in a give and take world.
Absolutely.
There's no
Mhm.
real friendships. That's why they're the same kids that you could give lunch or nutrition intervention the entire year, and they don't mind missing all of their friendships because they don't have they have people that they call friends, but they don't miss them. So what does that tell you? The friendships aren't actually real.
They lose them.
They don't lose anything by not being there.
Mhm.
Those kids need a lot of help, man.
They do, and
I agree with that.
that's the thing.
But
But that's a
uh,
small
um,
percentage.
Yeah, but I'm just saying how you just said how you dealt with that. You have to learn your tactics to deal with kids like that.
Yeah,
like
and
you
there's
just
still
did.
times
Yeah.
where you also got to know the kids, and you get a good read on behavior and stuff like that. There's some kids that you could just have a firm voice with.
Yeah, and then there's some kids who that will set them over the edge.
Absolutely.
It's a lot like reading
Yeah,
the
yeah.
room. Like, dude, there have been kids that have told me, they're like, dude, you're everybody's favorite teacher. Like, the kids
I
actually
can see
like
that.
me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are certain kids you have to be very firm with. There's certain kids you have to be extra kind with. It's like when kids are going up and they're doing a saying, they're kids to where I'll say something verbal while they're up there because I know they're going through something in their life.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yep. And I'm like, right, that's right.
Yep.
Because they need that. They need constant affirmation because you can
validation.
tell they're like
Yeah.
looking around and they're scared to be on stage.
Yeah.
And then there's other kids to where I have to be firmer with them because they have no problem getting up in front of people,
Facts.
but they are like a little crazier. But there are some kids that like no matter what you do,
That's such a
it's
small
beyond.
percent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the. I wouldn't say it's the norm for sure,
No.
but there are certain things to where you're like, dude, this is beyond what I'm capable of. as a teacher.
Intensive therapy is needed.
Yeah, definitely. You guys want to go to the next comment?
Let's do it. In California, they are run by ADA funds. Very important to have students show up every day. We need more counselors, a ratio of 1 to 200. Currently, right now, it's 12,000 to 1. They wouldn't have chronic absenteeism if the caseload would measure up. UTLA, that's what's needed for our LA County students. The sentence is a little bit broken up, but I think
I
really
understand that.
what she's Lucy Rojas is really getting to is that it's so important, number one, to get the students that have a lot of issues to
Mhm.
come to school every day.
Yep.
But on top of that, we need to adequately fund all of the programs to have counselors for these kids.
100%.
And I don't think that society, and it angers me when they don't know how much money is needed when you have a very low performing school where kids are coming from like crappy backgrounds, right? Let's just say it like that. It's not ideal. The amount of work that is going to be needed and the money that has to be spent to turn the ship around can be a lot.
Mhm.
And the public doesn't really, I don't think that they want to spend the money sometimes for that.
Mhm.
I go, but then if you don't at the start, then you're going to have major problems in society with those kids when they grow up to be adults because they never get on the right path.
But what about all the money that we use too, that the districts get that they abuse and don't use? Like, so much of that money could go to therapists, I feel.
100%. There's another thing that we need is like, when they say, do you guys remember the comic book, The Watchmen?
Mhm.
Yeah.
was
Did you
that-
see the movie?
I never saw the movie. No. I
Yeah,
heard about it,
the
yeah.
comic
Yeah.
book is one of the best things ever created.
Okay.
Whatever. But it was always, who's going to watch The Watchmen? And then I think about that with government and government just getting money is like, well, who's watching who's watching the government? The government?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's supposed to be the
Yeah,
systems
like-
of checks and balances, but they're all
but
like handshake deals.
Yeah, and then you go, how bad? I would love to know, like really know, how bad is the money mismanaged? That's a very good point, right? To the point of like, how many people have positions that are not really needed? Do you know that could actually be going to the boots on the ground people at schools to get another counselor or whatever it is? Um, how much just waste,
Yeah.
but I think about it every time I think about that, I just think about that's money being pulled from schools.
Yeah, but they use that money for something else sometimes because they have to use the money. Sometimes some schools have that money already there, but they use it for other things because you have to spend that money eventually. But they use
Yes.
it on something stupid. You know
Some
what I'm
of
saying?
it, I
Not
mean,
what you
like
need.
the after school stuff is like legit. Like kids need that. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And so that's
Super
like something
needed.
that's like, but I feel like even more money should go into that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know what the
they have
budget
cut a
is.
lot. They have cut a lot of money though.
They cut a lot on the
well,
after school program.
once Trump came in office, he cut a lot of that stuff out. But some schools just got money that they haven't spent from years because a lot of schools when COVID hit,
Yeah.
they had a lot of money that they didn't use. So after COVID, they're like, oh, we got this now. Oh, we got that now. But that money is kind of shrinking up real fast.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's also
wild.
important too.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, if people don't know, we kind of leave out talking about like kids that come from money and
Mhm.
just good situations. We're talking because we really want to help the kids that are at the bottom, right?
Absolutely.
100%.
That's because those are the ones that need the most help. And
The kids in Beverly Hills are probably fine.
yeah, they're a lot better off.
They're better
at least,
off.
hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's like these after school programs, you need to turn schools into secondary homes for these kids so they have a
100%.
place where they feel safe.
Yep.
They can relax. They
Yep.
don't want to leave. And so that's why you need the after school programs. That's why we need
Yeah.
Mr. Delger coming in here talking about EduSkate and having parks, literally skate parks on campus
Yes.
for
Yeah.
kids. So as
Yeah.
I like what our
Yeah.
producer just said. He said,
Yeah.
go back and listen to that episode. So if you can, it's one of our first episodes, I think probably in the top first 10.
I
Yeah,
remember that.
Greg Delger.
Yep.
You
I
were
remember
actually
that.
out, I think, on that episode.
Nah, I remember that. That's the one that had the sweater on. Right?
Yeah. I think
I-
you were out.
I was gone.
that night. Yeah.
I saw the episode though. Yeah.
So real quick, everybody, Greg Delger is a teacher at LeCompte Middle School in the Hollywood, California area. He founded a nonprofit organization called EduSkate that helps bring skate parks, real deal skate parks, to public schools and helps them get the funding and everything. Because kids in the inner cities, in the cities, right, they're not really playing baseball. They love soccer and they love skating.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they'll
That's
play
true.
basketball.
I like that so
Basketball.
much.
Yep. So
Soccer
Keep,
is
keep the
huge.
kids at the
if you
streets,
Google EduSkate, you'll actually his website will pop up.
Really random. Was soccer big in Chicago when you were growing up?
Nah, soccer's more. I think the last 10 years, I would say
Yep.
soccer came.
Is it big in Chicago now?
Depends. It depends. If you live in the suburbs, yeah, but not the
Yeah.
city for sure. Not, but the
Yeah,
suburbs.
I think it might have been California thing.
Well,
Because California, it's so huge in
Well, it's
California.
also because we have such a huge Latino population
Yeah.
in California.
Absolutely.
That's their favorite sport.
It's
It's that
true.
and baseball.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
Yeah.
why sometimes when somebody tells me they're like, I want to be a football player, I'm like, what kind? Because they call soccer football.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
places.
But
you know,
some
so I'm
schools
like,
got rugby now.
dude,
Yeah,
that's funny.
I'm scared of that. But
When I think of rugby, I think of rich, entitled kids.
yeah. Think
Yeah.
of
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
a guy whose name is Henriksen or something like that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
yeah, no rugby, you get hurt. You have no equipment on. They can
Yeah.
just smash you. Nah, I'm not down. For
Yeah, that's
that.
Chadwick and Dante that
Exactly.
can play that.
Nah,
That's
nah.
not us. You guys want to go to the next comment? Let's see what we got here. Yes, sir. The 5% that have no credits but are still in your 11th grade English class, the 5% who show up late every day, causing a disruption, the 5% who never shut up despite numerous redirects, seat changes, private conversations, calls home, that 5%, yeah, mine is more like 25%. So you did a video on this, but, you know.
a common thing that we talk about a lot here is how 5% ends up ruining it for the other 95%. And what this person, they're actually being very kind and using the appropriate academic language like redirects. I love the language that we come up to. No, it's like, hey, can you please stop doing that and do this? That's a redirect. But so what she's talking about is how, and I there was another comment that went with this, is like, the problem with the 5% isn't just the 5%. It's the fact that they infect the middle.
They're gremlins, dude. If you get water on, they
'cause
multiply.
The middle, look, you got your top 25% that are going to be great. Then you got that middle. Some of them are kind of on the fence. They're really just watching the 5% to see what the 5% get away with. And if they see the 5%, then they start going, it's like they're right behind the 5%. So that they go, well, I'm not as bad as so-and-so. But then that is what this teacher's talking about. It can, a class can become chaotic.
Dude, you know, there's a joke too about how the kid who always causes the most problems is never absent. Like, never. And it's crazy because, like,
Cause they got
when
nowhere
they're
to go.
not there,
Yeah.
you don't even want to call their name during attendance. It's like Voldemort. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't even say his name.
Yeah.
He's just going to appear in a cloud of smoke.
Nah.
But when they're not there, your class is quiet.
You can tell right away.
Yeah, right away. And I'm like, what's going on today? And you're like, oh, yeah, Corey. Corey's not here.
John.
John
We,
is not
we
here.
love
Like
using
the
John.
table charm. Or Corey. I never have had a Corey yet.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Gordon is the other one that we use.
Yeah.
Space
So when the
out.
John of your classroom is gone, you go, why is it so enjoyable? And then the kids pointed out, that's the craziest part.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Like,
it's 'cause
Mister
Corey's
is so
not here.
nice today. John
not here.
isn't here. And you're like, oh my God, even the kids get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up with a John.
But
John.
I'm like, why do you let him co-opt you? Why do you make him your leader?
Because he's the cool kid. He's the cool kid. All the kids want to be with John. Because John's cool. He's fun.
Yeah.
John probably is good looking. You know, he probably tall, but he caused all the trouble. But everybody look up to John.
I like the mob boss.
Yeah.
He's
He's the mob boss,
Absolutely.
and everybody else is his henchmen.
Facts.
You know,
Yep.
trying to
Yeah.
get inducted into the mob. It's true though. The 5%, I think that's what it is, but they quickly become 25%.
And also in public schools nowadays, we constantly are having to educate the public. There are so few consequences for behavior, right? So when you have someone like a John in the room, John has more rights to be in there and destroy it for everybody. But I wish that more of like the kids that actually want to learn would go home and complain to their parents about the John of the room.
But they also don't want to be a narc.
Yeah,
They don't wanna be a narc.
and they don't do it. And then that's because the only way things change is that you have to complain and there has to be another lawsuit to say like, hey, leaving John in the room destroys everybody else.
But you know what happened to snitches nowadays, bro? No
Look
one
at
snitch.
your eyes
Okay?
got lit up.
Can't snitch nowadays. I feel you. You got to. But these kids are afraid to snitch.
Yeah, you know
Especially
what?
if their name come up, John is on
I'm
their
starting
butt.
to think that snitches have more character.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, oh, I don't want to snitch. Why? Because you're afraid that people are going to judge you. What about the person who proudly stands up with chest out and is like, yeah, I'm a snitch?
I'm snitching.
No, you know what
Sometimes
snitches
we
do
are
now,
snitching.
and I
What?
love it,
What?
is they send me, I don't even want to call them snitches. The kids that tell me like what actually happened, they send me messages on Schoology through our learning platform so that they never are seen talking to me. So that they're
That's
never.
smart.
Yeah, it's so
That's
smart.
smart.
Dude, they'll do that in 7th and 8th grade, but 6th graders, they'll snitch on each other with the person right there. and
Right
they'll be
there.
like,
Like, he's right here.
He's got his cell phone in the
Oh, yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and then they sit back down. I'm like, hey, give me your phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you just ratted yourself out completely.
They're like, Gordon's eating in class, mister.
Yeah, Gordon, stop eating in class. It's like, did you tell him? And the kid's like, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's how you know when a kid has ruined all the friendships with someone, when all the kids immediately turn on whatever they're doing. Oh, Gordon's eating in class, mister. You're like, oh, that kid.
Yeah.
Or Gordon has his phone out, mister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the fall guy.
I remember one time in live theater, it was this kid named Michael. He's a 5th grader, right? And he took this girl's phone. And then I'm like, okay, who has the phone? The girl like, Michael has my phone. And I didn't want to just put Michael in the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all the boys line up, right? So I was like, come on, let me check your pockets out. Okay, go. Check your pockets out. Okay, go. Keep it going, go. Michael's coming up. He just threw the phone real fast. I was like, Mike. Mike, I saw you throw the phone, man. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. I saw you, man. So he was like the third person. He just threw it real fast and turned his neck like this. I'm like, Mike, I saw you, bro. I saw you throw the
They
phone.
always get stiff after they do something too. It's like this.
Yeah.
That's funny. He does not care about that phone.
Not at all. He threw the phone so
That's
fast.
someone whose mom and dad will buy him a brand new phone if it cracks.
Facts. He did not care.
If you guys had a kid
Mhm.
that was like, let's say elementary school, would you get him an iPhone or her an iPhone, or would you get her like a Boost Mobile drug dealer phone?
Drug dealer.
Yeah, the little flip phones. You know, I think I'd get him a Boost Mobile.
I think I want to get my kid the right phone. I'll probably get my kid an iPhone because it's easy to just connect with everything, all the features of the iPhone. It wouldn't be a brand new iPhone. It'd be like a 14 or something.
Give him
like
an
that.
iPhone 11 in 2060.
Yeah.
I guess really it's more about like, hey, what can I do? Well, here's the problem. Ready? Where there's a will, there's a way. Most kids, even with like the parental like locks and all of that stuff that parents can put on a phone,
Yeah.
kids just find ways to get around it.
How?
Because they're smart. Where
They are
there's
smart.
a will,
There is a way.
Yeah.
Desire. And
Yeah.
you take it, it's digital heroin. You know what I mean? So they
Absolutely.
need their fixins. I remember when we first got like yonder pouches,
Yeah.
like it sounded like they were hammering the roof because the kids in the class were just banging it. Whoa.
Yeah.
The kids in the class were just banging it on the table to try to get the yonder pouches to split open. So yonder pouches are these pouches that kids had to put their cell phone. You'd lock it for the day. It's like a little cloth pouch.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
all they have to do is bang it on the table and it'll pop open. They figured out how to do that. Then they were watching videos on TikTok for how to pick the yonder pouches.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with cell phones in my
I've
class, or I
never-
don't notice it.
I've
at
barely
least.
ever had a problem with cell
Yeah.
phones.
In your classroom, you don't?
Yeah, not really, because most of the kids, my policy is very, very simple. You ready?
Mhm.
If you take out a phone,
Yeah.
it's mine the rest of the day, and I'll meet you at the main office at the end of the day, and I'm going to send a text home to your parents.
But what if they want to give you the phone?
There's only been one time, and that was the kid that
Tried to lay
put his
hands
hands on me.
Really?
You took
So,
away his drug
what-
from him.
Yeah,
His pappy.
one.
Anybody in the chat had the same problem?
Yeah.
The cell phones? Yeah.
But one kid. Other than that, man, the kids are really good because they know that I'm going to store it in a safe place, right? And then I will give it back to them.
It'd be funny if you just took a ton of selfies and then they got home. and
I
it's just
wish I could do that.
you being like,
You know what? I love doing that. I love doing that when they're on their Chromebooks and I walk past
and they're on their camera.
they're
Yeah, I
on
do
their
that too. I
camera.
stick my head in.
I do stuff like this
It right behind them?
Yeah, I do that too.
and
That's
just wait.
They'll be on their cameras, like girls will be doing makeup or whatever, or they'll be taking pictures of kids, and then you'll just go in and then pop in the camera.
Oh, I do that too.
It's
yeah.
funny.
I do that too.
Should we go to the last comment? Let's go to
Actually,
the last
you know
comment. I
what?
think that might have been
Yeah,
it.
2 more minutes.
I
huh?
really want to say, guys, once again, before we go, thank you so much for tuning in and following us on all the different platforms. Keep sending us comments, right? Sometimes we're going to miss things. So if there's a comment that you really, really want to get to us, send it in a message, right?
Please
Yeah.
get it to us.
That even though if we're not friends with you, it may show up in like, especially if we're on like what Instagram, it may show up in the unread or right, or if you have to request it or something.
Yeah.
It may take us a week, 2 weeks,
100%.
but we'll eventually see it.
We approaching.
And I also want to piggyback on something Chris just said too, because we had this brought to our attention this week. Somebody was a little displeased, to say the least. They're like, "You guys are deleting comments."
Oh,
And then they commented on your video, they commented on mine, and were like, "You have no backbone. Quit deleting my comment." And I'm like,
What they say?
I didn't delete their comment.
Oh wow.
I didn't. So what happens is, like, if you're saying something like, "I hope you die in a car crash," Instagram will hide that
Yeah.
under.
Because we
So
got
if there's-
kids, y'all. We got kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. They're like,
Exactly.
yeah, this person is going on the wanted list. But we just want to let you guys know we are not deleting your comments. So we welcome different opinions.
yeah.
So if you guys have a critique, we ask you to keep it respectful.
Speak your mind. Yeah.
But tell us that you disagree. That's fine.
Yeah.
We are
I love
not
it.
Hey,
dictators
we-
over here. Like
we
our
love
ego's
all
not
that.
that tied up in it.
We love that.
So we don't delete your comments.
For sure. And big shout out to Sean Murphy in the building, Miss Patrice, Phillip, and Dr. D. Thank
Dr.
y'all.
D.
Yes. Appreciate
Dr.
y'all.
D's got
Yeah,
that
yeah.
prescription.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Do we have one more comment?
No, we're
We
good.
don't.
Out.
Cool. We're out. We're out. All right, guys.
See ya.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in.
Yep.
You guys are awesome. We do this for you. Keep sending your comments week after week, and we'll be here next Thursday.
We love y'all.
All right. Have a good rest of your week.
Peace.